Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Kenny Lamons here with Medicare Millennials. And of course, on this channel, we help teach you guys how to build a large, successful health insurance book of business with a Medicare focus. Today, I'm going to bring some really high value to you guys. It should cost you money just to watch this video. I've got Rob, also known as the Medicare Minister, here with me today. And before I let him introduce himself, let me tell you what the video is going to be about. Okay. So I used to do Medicare seminars before COVID. I had just began dabbling, just getting my feet under me. Boom, COVID hits. So I have to change direction, do something different. But ever since then, I've always known I want to incorporate them back into my business. And now I'm doing it. I've got 2 seminars scheduled for next month. Super excited about that. Thankfully, Rob's been a friend in the business to me I've known him for several years now. We met at a conference. You guys need to be learning and growing and meeting people so that you can have these opportunities like going to these conferences. But I met Rob at a conference. We've stayed in touch. We share our faith. So that helps, as well as we share a passion in our business. And so he has been doing seminars for a long time. We're going to do a deep dive on what a Medicare seminar looks like. Am I saying seminary? Why am I misspeaking here? Medicare seminary, Medicare seminars. It will change your business, guys. It may not be for a brand new agent day one, but what you learn today is going to be a part of your business if you have a health insurance agency. So without further ado, Rob, just give us a quick overview. Who are
Sure.
you? What do you do in this industry?
Yeah, Rob Sevilla, my wife Jean, and I own Agape Insurance and Financial Group in North Mississippi. Actually, it's the birthplace of Elvis, Tupelo, Mississippi. I did not know that because I'm from Southern California when I moved here. But so we own an
California to
agency,
Mississippi.
California to Mississippi. That's another whole podcast for another day. But we here in North Mississippi, we have about 13 to 15 agents across the country. And our 2 main verticals are Medicare and ACA. And I love the Medicare seminars because I believe it's one of the best ways to get in front of quality people to just really supercharge your business. My wife and I are former pastors and church planners and have been in some form of ministry for over 20 years. Got 3 awesome kids. And we love Medicare. We like to say it this way. The reason we chose Agape is because agape is this perfect love. It's the perfect love in the Bible. It's who God is. But there's another element to it of this sacrificial servanthood, right, or servant heart. And so we like to say it this way, that Medicare is really a ministry for us,
Yeah.
right? That we get to impact lives and our clients and help them with what we're doing here. So that's a short version.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. Love the name. It's unique and it's got a lot of meaning behind it. Mine doesn't have that much meaning behind it. So, real quick, before we jump into the seminars, I wanted to ask you
Sure.
2 questions that I
Yeah,
think will be
absolutely.
useful. What has been your main focus for 2024? We'll start there. You don't have to give all the details, but if you looked at your business and you said, this is the thing we're doubling down on in our business, like what does that look like in your insurance agency?
Yeah, absolutely. And to give you a little context, because of my story, I pretty much had to start back over. So I was just focused on writing, hunting, grinding, whatever words you want to put there. And we were blessed just to pick up agents along the way. We haven't been recruiting, but just I believe you attract who you really are, right? And when you're in alignment, for me, that's first with my creator, that he just brings people in what I call divine appointments into your life. And so we picked up these agents. But what I realized, Kenny, for me, and to answer your question, is I am focused on doubling down on systems to
Okay.
help those agents be more efficient, because a lot of them are baby agents, if I could say it that way. And so when you're used to writing on your own pen, and you've been in Medicare for a while, I've been in Medicare for a few years, you get used to just doing your thing, and you don't realize that systems really can hurt, make you, or break you in your business. And so if you're going to recruit, you need to have efficient systems in place to help you carry out the vision and help you carry out the processes necessary for them to be successful. And so what I'm really doubling down in 2024 is, yes, I'm still going to hunt, I'm still going to grind, I'm still going to do what I know to do, But if I want these agents to be successful, I have to take the initiative to
Hmm.
put more systems and platforms in place to really help them, start right out of the gate as quickly as possible.
Couldn't agree more. The one I started at a captive insurance agency in
Mhm.
Dallas, Texas, sold
Mhm.
senior market products, no
Sure.
Medicare Advantage, but med sups and final expense and
Yeah.
annuities. There was a lot of things wrong with that shop. Okay. The
Yeah.
one thing that was right about that shop is they had systems. They had
Yep.
their system. So when I walked in as a 22-year-old goofball kid with
Yeah.
nothing to give and nothing to lose,
Sure.
I learned a process, and I learned right, wrong, or indifferent, regardless of the bad parts of that agency.
Yeah.
I learned so much about sticking to a script and having a process and having a focus. And I'm eternally grateful for that learning experience. So I agree with you. Systems for new agents is everything. That's
Mhm.
so good. All right, I want to be my on my channel. Try my very best for every video to be pretty focused. What I want to do is jump right into seminars now.
Okay.
Rob, I know you've been doing seminars in some capacity for a long time. You've
Yep.
also done Medicare seminars specifically for
Mhm.
a good amount of time as well.
Mhm.
How long have you been doing seminars, and do you prefer, and remember, you're speaking this into people who may want to be adding this to their business.
Sure. Yeah.
Should this look more like how long you've been doing it, and should this look more like educational seminars
Yeah.
which lead to sales later, or flat out, hey, let's not beat around the bush. This is a sales seminar, and we're going to try to get sales in this seminar.
Yeah, absolutely. So in two different arenas, I have about 15 to 16 years of seminar experience. I was in the energy savings business, in a former life, and did help design a seminar process there and traveled all across the Southeast doing that. And then Medicare, I've been doing Medicare seminars off and on for probably about 4.5, maybe 5 years now. Um, and so, about 15 years combined of experience. And then also, just my background as a pastor and preaching for years and been in public speaking. So it comes very natural to me. Let me say it that way. But there is some things you want to be aware of when you're putting on these seminars, and we'll talk more about that. To answer the other question is, you definitely want it to be educational. I
Yeah.
tell people this, really Medicare, and you know this, I'm preaching to the choir here, but Medicare is really more about educating and informing
Yep.
because they have to have Medicare, right? So it's more about educating and informing and building that know, like, and trust. So the seminars we do are all educational seminars, meaning there's nothing sales there. Of course, you want to be compliant as well, and make sure that you're registering or doing those seminars according to Medicare's compliance.
So educational, no
Mhm.
sales are done at the actual seminar. Okay. So how are you, just short answer, how are you following up with these people? Is it they got to call you? Do they have
Sure.
the ability to sign up for an appointment? What would that look like?
Yeah, great question. So one of the things that we do is we actually give out a folder that's branded to us that has several documents or several forms in them, and one of them is a permission to contact form.
Yeah.
Right? Name, address, phone number, what kind of coverage do you have now? And we're just trying to get as much information compliantly as possible to make sure that when we do follow up with them, because at the end of the seminar, they turn that form in, right? It's even in our presentation. Hey, at the very end, go ahead and pass those forms up. And so they've given us a little bit of information, and then they check a box that says something like, hey, follow up with me right away, or I'm not interested at this time, but follow up with me at this time, or whatever the case may be. There's like 4 or 5 bullets there that they can check. And so that form just gives us the permission to contact them. And then we generally reach out to everybody and follow up with them. And we just say, hey, how did you enjoy the dinner? Right? We're just casual conversation. How did you like the dinner? Maybe what did you like most about it? Was there something that you really, stood out to you that you learned there? And then we use that as a way to say, okay, when can we schedule a time to speak to you about your upcoming Medicare?
So here's something that I found. So kind of back to the educational versus sales.
Mhm.
you got to have a presentation to give.
Yep.
Right? So if you're a
Right.
brand new agent, you're going to need some help. You're going to have to
Yep.
be coached up to do this.
Yep.
You give a great presentation and
Mhm.
you're very personable and it is educational. Like truly, you're not even compliantly at an educational event allowed to talk about specific plan details.
That's
So
right.
like you don't do any of that. Educate on the Medicare program, the broad differences between plans. These people are vast majority of them are going to make a decision to do business with you during
Yep.
that presentation.
Sure. I agree. Yeah.
If they even showed up, that's a good step. But by the time they leave, they have already, I'll tell you, the ones that I've done, at least 50% of the people were approaching me after the seminar saying, can you sign me up for a plan today? Like, which plan is best for me today?
Sure.
And of course, we can't sell right there. So it's kind of
Yeah.
cool, but you're like, make sure you fill out your permission to contact form. I would love to set an appointment with you as soon as possible, but just
Mhm.
to make sure I'm following the rules. Today was educational only. I
Yep.
can still be your agent. So like the tables are turned. You have sold them on working with you, right?
That's right. That's
And you're
exactly right.
staying compliant. Because I know the rules guy is going to watch this video and they're going to comment, oh, so you force people to give you their information, Rob? No, that's an optional permission to contact form, of
Yeah.
course. Like they're not required to have an appointment with you, and you can't
Sure.
have a required sign-in sheet that's disguised as an appointment setter. So it's optional, but that's the natural consequence of a good presentation. Would you agree?
Yeah, because they did show up, which means they had interest, and these are some of the hottest prospects you're ever going to talk to because, like what you just said, you're selling yourself is really what you're doing, right? And I think one good thing to point out here is I can't be you. We talked about this before we went live, right? Each one of us are unique. We each have a unique skill set, right? A unique voice, unique mannerisms that to me, I believe are God given. So you can't be me, I can't be you. And so when you do these seminars, you really have to find, your pace, find out who you really are, and present it that's according to your personality.
Yeah.
And so, like when I give people the presentation that I utilize, I say, hey, make it fit you, right? I'm not as academic as some other presenters are, but I'm passionate because I love people. So
Yep.
I love having a good time. So if you come to one of my seminars, it's fun, right? There's humor mixed into it. And it's very passionate, but that's what works for me. But someone else may not be that, and so they got to find their own. They got to incorporate their personality and find their pace.
Yep, I couldn't agree more. I'm not yawning because I'm bored. I haven't
No,
finished my first cup of coffee yet. That's so good. The focus on you, it's like the systems thing.
yeah,
You've got to learn a presentation, but then you have to
yeah.
make that presentation your own. So big.
Yeah.
I wanted to point out real quick that these seminars, at least for me,
Mhm.
are geared towards people turning 65.
Yep,
Same for you, right?
yep,
Okay, because I know there are agents who run seminars for the broader market. Like they'll invite anybody, which don't get me wrong, anybody could show up to mine, but I do target T65s. Those are
mhm,
high value, high intent clients. And you
yeah.
prefer to do the same, right? Okay.
Yeah, what we do is we'll go out as far as 64 because we want to try to get there 6 months. I even go out a year. So I mean
Yep.
6 months to a year. And then I'm even doing some to age 67 because a lot of people are working past 65 now.
Yep.
Some are doing it for their full retirement benefit age, of Social Security, but then also just from financial reasons. A lot of them can't retire right now, and so their group health coverage at work, and so we're seeing success in that
That
64 to
way.
67 demo.
Perfect. Okay. So next question here, just broadly speaking,
Hmm.
we know we've got to somehow get people to these seminars. Okay. So you
Sure.
get a presentation, you're ready to go out there and talk to some people. You're not going to knock on doors and invite them to the seminar,
Yeah.
right? So you're probably going to be using either digital marketing like a Facebook
Hmm.
campaign
Yeah.
or a mailer of some sort that's going
Yep.
to invite people locally to your seminar.
Hmm.
And we know that costs money. And I'll just uh, let the cat out of the bag. That's the biggest cost, right? I mean, getting a restaurant to let you, okay, yeah. So let's answer those two questions. About how much would you expect to spend for one seminar, knowing that marketing is probably your biggest cost? And do you prefer to
Yeah,
do these at like a library type thing, college campus, or more at a restaurant type thing?
yeah. I prefer to do it at a restaurant. I have friends that have done them at libraries and other things, and they don't get hardly any people there. Right. It's usually like 3 or 4. And I know you can still, generate some sales that way, but it's just like onesies and twosies, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Restaurant, if you feed them a nice dinner, and they can come and it's a great atmosphere, right? And it needs to be a private room, preferably, because if not, it's like you're screaming over all the noise, and then it just distracts them, and you don't get that same sign up ratio, because they, a lot of times they can't hear. So I prefer restaurants, is what I prefer, and I've had great success with the restaurants. So far as cost, your biggest cost is going to be the mailer. I don't remember exactly what it is per piece for now, so I'm going to just average there. It's about 60 cents per piece.
A little
Right.
more than that on average, I
Yeah,
would guess,
yeah,
too, because
yeah,
they've
yeah.
gone up recently.
So I know they've went up a lot, but like, I think we're getting ready to do some, we're mailing like 3,100 pieces, and I think it was like $2,200 for the mailer.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
But once again, to me, that's an investment in my business. These are quality leads, and
So is
we know
that
that
an
it's going to fill
average
our pipeline.
mailing for you? Sorry, not to cut you off. I just want to
Yeah.
focus on the important parts there. You're mailing about 3,100 people. So you're in Tupelo. I don't care where it is. Let's say it's around Tupelo.
Mhm.
And within 20 miles, you've got 3,100 people that are 64 to 67.
Mhm.
You partner with your lead company to mail them an invitation to your deal. Cost you a little over $2,000 to
Mhm.
mail 3,100 people. Is that for one seminar?
That's for two.
That's for two seminars. So
Yeah,
do
that
you
should
give them
fill up two seminars. And FYI, too, just a quick disclaimer here, that's also including an answering service, which I recommend, right? That they do all the answering for me, so my phone doesn't get bogged down with people trying to reserve dinners. They do all of that for me. So some of that charge is an upcharge for them to handle all the booking and reservations.
So that would average out for about $1,100 per seminar.
Yeah, roughly. Yeah,
Roughly, give or take. That's a
yeah,
realistic expectation.
sure.
How many, if you were only doing seminars, but you're a newer agent, okay? I'm not talking the highest level that you can
Sure.
possibly do. What's a good $1,100 per seminar? How many per month might somebody want to do to be viable, to get going, to learn, to start from as a foundation? Is one enough per month? Three? One a week? What's a
Yeah,
reasonable?
great questions. I think first of all, you have to decide what kind of investment you're wanting to make in your business, and then look at your budget. Me, I'm a big risk taker, but it's really not a risk. It's more of just an investment. But if you really, really want to jumpstart your business, I think you should be doing 2 to 3 minimum every month, because you have to understand, when you're doing these seminars, if some of these people aren't turning 65 for 6 months, 7 months, 8 months down the road, you basically have a Medicare savings account of people, right? Like, these people are waiting there for you. And if you're nurturing them and following up like you should be, right, then they're waiting. Like right now, this year, I probably have 10 to 12 turning 65s waiting on me, because I can't really talk to them until like August,
Mm-hmm.
July, September. But I'm following up with them, text messaging, mailing a letter, just, I have a calendar that I use. Hey, this is my brand new calendar for the year, talk to you and whatever. So, you want to do 2 to 3 a month if you can, just because it could really, really supercharge your business. And you won't have to do that amount every single month. You do that for 6 months to a year, and I promise you, you'll have tons of T65 prospects.
Maybe you drop it down to 1 to 2 a month after that, because you're also getting referrals and you're
Well, that's
cross
a great point. Yeah.
clients.
We do them strategically now. So I don't do them all the time. I usually pick out a certain amount per quarter, and I just use that to keep the pipeline full. But if you're working your business right, Kenny, what you just said is you should have referrals coming in, right? And you should have other methodologies working behind the scenes that are kind of a supplement to that, or vice versa. Maybe your dinners are a supplement to your other things. Doesn't matter how you work your business. You just have to decide what kind of investment you're willing to make and what budget you have to do that.
Okay. So $1,100 for the marketing, just roughly per seminar. You know, you got to either rent the room or at least pay for a meal.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, by the way, guys, those of you that are saying, well, what is the rules? What's the compliance? Go take AHIP, get an establish a found. AHIP will teach you the basic rules. Okay. Me and Rob do our best to follow those rules that are up for interpretation. They're not perfectly clear. My point is, this isn't a compliance video, right? Like, get with your upline and do your AHIP so that y'all can navigate the detailed rules. Me and Rob want to paint the picture for you of how this can benefit your business. So I just wanted to differentiate there. So my $1,100, about how much, you know, for food and everything all in, would you say?
Yeah, we try to negotiate around $15 or less. But here's the thing. One of my tips is I don't do steak dinners. There are some people that do steak. I love using Mexican restaurants and just looking at the combination menu, because normally those are between, you know, $9.99 to $11.99, $12.99, maybe, you know, depends where you live. I know it's more expensive in other areas, but here in Mississippi or surrounding areas like Alabama, Tennessee, it's normally between that $9.99. And then I set a set menu. I don't let them just order everything else. I have a set menu that I announce, or some restaurants will print out a sheet for me, right? And we'll go, this is what we're going to do, because I want to control that cost, right? We're not there to get filet mignon. We're here to learn about Medicare, but I also want to feed them a good meal while they're listening to me.
I love that. So pause, time out. Anybody that's made it this far in the video, if you're interested in learning more about this, there's two things you can do. One, you can go to my website, MedicareMillennials.com, and reach out to me. There's a contact form there, or you can schedule and pay for a Zoom coaching call. I'll tell you more about this. Or two, you may like the way that Rob does business or be in his part of the country. Rob, how can people reach out to you if there's
the easiest way to do is either find me on Facebook, Rob Sevilla, Sevilla, or just go to Agape Insurance Group, MS.com. So
Agape Insurance Group, MS.com. Or on Facebook, Rob Sevilla, Sevilla. Okay. Let's keep going. I just wanted to let people know where to find us. Love that. So let's just say $15 per plate. Let's say you get 15 people in a, you know, not everybody lives in a hugely populated area. You end up getting 15 people. That would be great to me, right? What is that? $300 or so on food, roughly. So you're looking at in the $1,400, let's say another $150 in miscellaneous costs, that different things you got to print out. So let's just say conservatively $1,500 to $1,800 per seminar.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Well, I have news for you. When I sell a brand new to Medicare, first of all, if it's a med sup, I usually am selling a company that has some type of bonus, but so it's going to end up being around $600 per sale. Before any cross-selling. So all I need is for 3 of those people to convert to fully pay for the seminar.
Sure.
Mind you, they're also going to be paying me renewals for 15 years after that, right?
Sure.
So you have 15 people there. You're telling me you're not confident in your ability to close 3 of the 15. Here's the truth. You should close 10 of the 15. Would you say that? Over the course of the next few months?
Yeah.
Okay. So you need 3 to pay for the seminar if it cost you $800. And that's no cross-selling. But you should be able to close how many out of 15? And you're assume you practiced it in your very first one. How many?
Yeah. And I would even say, Kenny, too, even if it was your first one and you went in there sound like a robot, you were stiff, you know, and you know this, most of these Medicare beneficiaries, they're just looking for somebody to trust. They're getting 150 stinking phone calls a day, right? Everybody's calling them. Everybody's telling them they have the best thing in the world. And when they go to these seminars, what they're really gauging more than your presentation, more than the food, they're saying in their mind, can I trust Kenny?
Yep.
Can I trust Rob? So I'm going to give him grace over here. But if I trust him and I see he's authentic and genuine and he really cares about me winning with my Medicare plans, right? Then they're going to sign up with you just based off of that alone. right? I can't tell you how many people have come to our seminars, and I'm not meaning this to be braggadocious. I'm just, giving you facts that said, hey, we went to 3 other seminars and we went with you because we felt that you were personable, you were authentic, you were real. I am a real big advocate, Kenny, of dumbing everything down. I don't speak a lot of Medicare needs at my seminars. I keep it real simple and I talk like they talk. And I can't tell you how many people we've gotten to sign up from that. But yeah, you should be able to get 10, 12. And the only time you'll miss people is sometimes you'll have people there that are a year off and they just say, I'm not interested right then, but I still follow up with them just to say, hey, thank you for coming. And do you mind if I reach out to you down the road, if
Yeah.
that's okay? And I'll either send them a letter or something like that.
Yeah, if they give you permission to contact, then let's say they might be 66. They
Mhm.
weren't sure if they picked the right plan, but after your seminar, they felt reinforced about the plan they had picked.
Sure.
Can I follow up with you during AEP? Right. So
Yep.
that might be an option. I already have Medicare. Please contact me at the next open
Yeah.
period. Or, like you said, they're 64. Hey, I'm still a year away. And after your seminar, I realized I'm going to keep my employer coverage for another year after that.
Exactly. A
Great.
lot of different scenarios.
That pours just into the final thing I'd like to talk about on this video, which
Sure.
is, what do you do with that person? Do you have a CRM for a follow-up process? Do you have a CRM that you recommend, or just a follow-up process? And then what do you like to cross-sell to these people?
Yeah, yeah. So our process is we do have a CRM that we put everybody into, right? And like I said, we're always giving a courtesy call. Hey, thank you, because we want to get better, Kenny. We want to grow at our dinners, and if our dinners, and I'll just talk like my kids talk. If they're trash, okay, then I want to know that. I want the feedback. So my calls aren't necessarily always, hey, let me sell you something, right? Because I do want to be compliant, but also we truly want constructive feedback. Hey, was there something we could have done better? Was there something you didn't like? Is there something just having conversation. So we do load them into a CRM, which allows us to text or to email. Sometimes I will even mail a letter if we get a new calendar that we put out. Calendars have worked really big for us. A lot of our clientele and demo love calendars, and they will lose my business card before they'll lose my calendar because they'll put it on the refrigerator, right? So I'm looking at just to have those touches until that appropriate time comes. So like I said, I have tons of T65s for the year that are way at the end of the year, have given me permission to contact them. And I'm just sending them an email or a text message every now and then saying, hey, this is Rob with Agape over here. Just want to let you know that I'm still going to reach out to you on 9/1 or 10/1 or whatever. You have to have a CRM or a system in place to follow up with these people, because you know this, Kenny, we're all this way, out of sight, out of mind. And they're
100%.
getting a billion phone calls a day to tell them the greatest thing in the world is going to happen if you sign up with me today.
So to speak to that, when you're working regular leads, one
Yep.
of those leads that talks about extra help, Medicare savings,
Yep.
extra benefits, the dollars are in the 1-day close. Like, you get to the
Yep.
lead, if they answer the phone or they open the door, you got to close it.
Yep.
With these Medicare seminars, the money is in the follow-up.
Yep.
You're not selling a single thing that day. You've
Yep.
got to be good at follow-up.
Yep.
The CRM I found last year that has finally, after years of searching, I've never found one I liked. It's a
Sure.
great fit for a small agency, and
Yep.
maybe for a big one. But I'm
Yep.
telling you, if I was a new agent again, I would buy this day one. It would be in my budget. $50 a month, Medicare Pro app,
Yep.
CRM. It is so simple, so good, and it actually fits perfectly with this pending concept
Yeah.
of people turning 65 as well. So
Yep.
real quick to kind of wrap this up, it's been a longer video, but it's been so good. We barely touched the surface. If you made
Man,
it
so
this far,
much.
congratulations. But one last question: what's your favorite product to cross sell to the type of people specifically that show up to a Medicare seminar?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, we're going to add on DVH, dental, vision, and hearing as much as possible. But I'm a firm believer in the cancer, right? Adding the cancer to fill in the gaps with the medicines and out of miscellaneous out of pocket costs. Because you may know this, Kenny, but 54% of all cancer related costs are non medical.
Right.
So we know the Medicare is going to take care of them on the treatment side and all of that. but what about these drugs that are not covered well in the Medicare, Part D formularies? And then also, what about those miscellaneous costs? So I would say cancer is probably my favorite besides the DVH.
So big. Right now, I have a lady that wants to retire. She's going through
Yeah.
chemo, but the Brukinza or whatever this chemo
Yep.
drug is,
It's
can't
expensive.
do it.
You can't do
Sorry.
it.
But had she had maybe a $50,000 lump sum cancer or a schedule of benefits, maybe
Yeah.
between her Medicare drug plan and that money, she could have handled it. Great
Yep.
example. So listen, Rob, this was so good. I love speaking with you. I
Thank you,
really
man.
can't imagine that people didn't get some value out of this video if they're at
Sure. I
all
pray they
interested
did.
in Medicare seminars. So I just thank you so much for coming on. I would love to come do another video with you. I know you're a busy man when you have time. Any final closing words before we let these people go?
No, I would just say don't let the investment scare you, because this could really revolutionize your business, whether you're brand new or you're seasoned, because you're getting in front of the best prospects that you can get in front of, because somebody's going to get in front of them. Why
You
not
mean
you?
they're better than like a DSNP Facebook lead?
Oh yeah.
No way.
These are a
Those
million
free
times better.
Facebook leads that one FMO was going to give me, these are
Yeah.
better than that.
Yeah.
I'm being you can see my snarkiness there, the
Yeah. Yeah.
cynicism there. Hey, I started with cold calls.
Sure.
I won't even we weren't selling Med Advantage. Then I did like a crappy lead, then a crappier lead, and then a decent lead. Like direct mail leads to lower income can be okay, but like once you get your first taste of T65 business, you're like, this is a really high value
Yeah.
lead and
And, and,
prospect.
and I know we've went a little long, but let me say this to your point is, and I know in our industry, it's sexy to say a lead's a lead is a lead is a lead. I understand all that, right? And you got to cut your teeth somewhere. But if your personality is not a hunter who wants to do 100 phone calls a day, or you don't have that type of personality, seminars are really good because it's them coming to an event and you're educating. So I've seen a lot of people that maybe don't have that killer instinct of a personality. I've seen them thrive in seminars because it's
Yeah.
more of come and see versus go and tell.
So good. So true. All right,
Yeah.
man. Rob, thank you so much. You have a blessed day. God bless you. Thanks for coming on, and we will talk soon, my man.
Thanks, brother.